We're going to start out with ending 1.
Planning on standing up to Magusar? You've learned to cast spells by reliving the journal. But the world inside the journal is another story, so to speak. The sorcerers in the journal are from the past. Your body, your things, they are not the same. Without strength, you may find that you cannot even escape from this cell. I ask one last time, are you sure? Never before has a prisoner of Magusar chosen this path. You are the first to attempt an escape by choice. Isn't that odd? Long have I awaited one such as you. Dozens. Perhaps hundreds of years. I had already made up my mind to give everything to a proper vessel. All the power that remains within me. Now, do it! Sacrifice me! I give you my very soul. This is where your story begins. All the memories, all the experiences of the journal are now a part of you. Now you can use your powers just as you did inside the story. Aren't you glad you sacrificed my soul? You need not feel guilt. No one will miss a strange talking book. I beg of you, kill that rotten fiend, Magusar. This is why I existed for so long. How far back I go, an eternity it seemed. I clung to this world, for I could not die. For he was a very special friend.
I finished Libram's tale, and now I begin a new journal. These are my words. Libram has left this world, and I will pick up where he left off. Yes, this is where my story begins.
Is it you? But how? No. Impossible. My friend is...
So I'm not going to talk too much over this part because there are some lines from dialogue from Magusar, which are interesting, but basically I want to let you guys know that I'm kind of overpowered at this point. I'm like level 46, I've got some of the best blood spells in the game. I'm still very behind on sigils, but the blood combined with the behemoth is just such a killer combination. It may not be the most interesting to see, but it is very efficient. So what he does is he just conjures this force field, then you get a small window to hit him. Then what normally happens is he's like summoning fire golems and using every elemental spell against you, which you can see in my failed attempt of him early game, which I did. But here I was able to just DPS him into submission.
I had to think about how closely events resembled those described in the journal. A mysterious sorcerer saved the world by defeating the terrible wizard, Magusar. The unknown sorcerer sacrificed Magusar to restore the barren, decayed world. There were too many parallels between my predicament and the details of the journal.
Now, it wouldn't be an authentic Japanese RPG action game if we didn't end with a dragon and transformation of the final boss. I'm not going to go into details about why he transforms into a dragon or anything on that, because we're not at the end of the game. This is just the end of the base game. So it's going to continue into the Delta part, which is going to give us more depth to the story, so I don't want to spoil anything. One thing I like about this dragon, even though it's basically just, hit it, is one, I forgot to use the platform. I would bring it because it does allow you to reach spots that you normally can't reach. I do like the fact that on each end of the dragon you can see the dark chalice and like a white chalice, and the dragon's got this whole like almost chaotic Gormagala thing going on. It's got like the light and dark, two different sides of it. Save, sacrifice. It's kind of thematic, right? And we got like this big sulky heart sack with eyeballs in the middle. Unfortunately, I am using a melee type of weapon with the blood claws. What I'm going to do is before we eventually I'm going to do a run where I show the boss using something more like ranged magic so you can get a better view of it. But I mean, it's an okay hunt. I mean, he does some cool moves, and it's just more, I think it's meant to be more of a set piece than it is supposed to be like a big challenge. He does summon actually a humanoid thing at times that you can sacrifice or save in order to restore your offering, so you're not in trouble if you run out of your spells here. I do have heat armor, which is great for this fight, so it's going to keep me pretty protected. And I am using that regeneration health seed, which helps me out as well. It's a pretty easy hunt. It's just basically just, how much attack can you whack away at, and do you get careless or not? And I thought it was pretty cool. Kind of reminded me of like the Dragon from Dragon's Dogma, which is its size and coming in, but nowhere near as epic as that. Anyways, sit back. It's going to be a long one. Enjoy the ending. It is fantastic. And then we'll go over the second and third type of ending you can get.
He had clutched it close all this time. He had missed his chance to use it. The sacred chalice spoke to me and said, "Sacrifice that which is precious to you. Make the appropriate sacrifice, and the chalice will grant your wish." To my right arm and librum within it, only Magusar would be a fitting sacrifice. The world would be restored if only I would sacrifice Magusar. Sacrifice Magusar and save the world, or save him and save his soul. Long ago, faced with the same decision, Magusar himself had chosen the world. I must choose. One future over another.
So this is where we get a choice in how we want to end the story. Again, this is the vanilla base game. It's not the end of the actual game. So I won't go into too many details here, but you do get the choice to save or sacrifice. So it'll stay on the screen. I've actually let it run for like an hour before just to see if there's like a hidden one, if like you do nothing. There's not. But both endings are very interesting. For this one, we're going to be choosing sacrifice, which is why I went ahead and I defeated Sortiara 5 times. Just relive the mission from the intro, and you're able to get her outfit because I thought it would be more appropriate.
The sacrificed soul of Magusar resided inside me, as did Libram's. After a long separation, the two souls had met again, within me.
Libram, is that you?
Yes. You're back, partner.
It was a long road. Now, thanks to you, I can finally die.
If only I could have helped sooner.
I needed someone's company.
Yes. That is why I kept on living.
With a caressing, soft light, the sacred chalice spoke. As you wished, the world restored to its original form. I could hear sounds from afar. The voices, countless voices of the reborn. The world was reborn. I will never forget. All the sacrificed souls that made this moment possible. I sacrificed Magusar, and his soul resides in my right arm. Am I fated to repeat history, as Magusar did in his day? But even so, I have great hope, knowing that the future can be changed. My story will one day join the past, and someone may look back upon it. And it is to that reader that I leave one last message. No matter how desperate your predicament may be, there is always hope. You must only have the strength to make the right sacrifices. Want and sacrifice. If you wish it, you can change the world. If this sense of hope lives on, then my life will have had meaning. Take these words with you and remember me by them. What is written on the pages of the future depends upon you, the reader of this tale. And as you live on, in the distant future, consider what Libram once told me. This is where your story begins.
And if you do choose the sacrifice ending, you do get a special spell called the Sanguine Demon Shot. It's just a nice powered blood attack shot that you can get from this hunt. I keep saying hunt, but it's more like a pact or story thing. Okay, now we go into a teaser for Delta. In time after time, the world is born anew. Reason is marred by greed and chaos, forgotten in rebirth. Along with the recreation of the world, a new nameless one steps forth, begotten by some force of will. And only the twin gods know the truth of the eternal recursion.
For heaven's sake, are you getting enough sleep? Did you have that dream again? The one where you break out of your cell and defeat Magusar? What? You sacrificed me and ran off? Don't be ridiculous. We've both been sitting here the whole time. What's gone into you? You don't seem yourself at all. Do you understand what perils we face? Magusar rules the world outside this cell. Oh my! Let me jog your memory with a story written in my pages. From what you're saying, you don't seem to have your memories straight. How about the sorcerer's journal within me? Surely you remember that. You were reading it before. The great journey of the journal's author and Magusar. Well, if something seems off to you, there must be a reason for it. And that reason may well be key to the truth behind this world.
So we, I believe, are technically already starting the Delta content, so they're giving you kind of a refresher, because it did come out a year later, although your save data did carry over. So you'll recognize this mission. This is like the first mission that we had in the book. So the first part of it will seem awful familiar, but stay tuned because it's not. Things derail pretty fast here.
What's wrong? Why are you so restless? Who am I? What a stupid question. I am Magusar. I am your companion. Stay focused. Good. Our work here is done. You are not injured, I trust. What's going on? Damn it. Be on your guard.
And here we get our first tease of the Grimm, which is Hansel and Gretel. They're so disgusting looking, aren't they? They're actually, I think they're like flies or maggots or something. I'm trying to show it with the camera, but it's really hard with a weapon that's so up close. But they pop out of houses randomly. So you have one popping out here, then he'll run away, and then I think the other child will pop out. They have some breakable parts, but this is more of a story introduction. Just to let you know that there is much more behind the scenes going on that we were actually aware of. And things are going to get very interesting. I'm so happy that they didn't just tell like some brand new story in Delta, but they did what it feels like it was planned out from the very beginning. Like there was head lore, or maybe there was like a story Bible that they had. So all of it feels completely natural and not forced. And I think you guys are going to really love the Delta portion of this game.
Just how many? It's the only way.
Calm down. Your cockamamie ideas have got my stories all mixed up. Are my memories clouded? No, it's... well... I feel that I'm missing a vital memory. Just before the end of the world, something happened. You'll just have to read very carefully to discover what it is. The story's written on my pages. Hey, something's happened. A repressed memory has resurfaced. Perhaps it's from you reliving all these phantom quests. It's from a time even before the encounter with Magusar. It may be important, seeing that it hasn't faded away. You're free to interpret this as you please. Your name appears to be written there. It may help you recall something.
It bears the inscription, Cyrix Camlin, my name. Now, I could be butchering that pronunciation, but this is something that I'm going to jump into on a separate episode because this goes to a much greater theme. But it seems like your nameless sorcerer is not indeed that nameless. This name actually has quite a lot of significance. It's interesting, and it's going to be its own topic. But the game doesn't really explain anything right now to you. This is something that you're going to discover, or at least we'll be able to piece together once we finish Delta. So I hope you guys look forward to my sort of lore breakdown, speculation type video at the very end. But do know that this item here later on, I'll show it when we unlock it, will allow us to sort of go back to the past to do things, or go back to the present day where we are at right now, which is like the second run through. But this is actually where we're now picking up and starting Delta. We'll go back to the book, and there is a new chapter for Grimm, which will kick things off. So that was the ending. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now we're going to go through and see the save ending instead of sacrifice.
Don't you dare worry about me. Guilt you need not feel. I've placed my faith in you entirely. Surely you understand. You will change nothing if you fear sacrifice. No one will miss a strange talking book. It can hardly be called a sacrifice. Prepare yourself. But without strength, you may find. I ask.
I must choose. One future over another.
Libram, is that you?
Libram's soul answered from within me.
Yes. You're back, my friend.
Reunion. Libram's soul resides within me. There must have been much more that he wished to speak about. So, I let him live on, through me. Even though I knew that this immortal beast would never be human again. Magusar did not stay sane for long. I set out to kill him. I saved him again. Fight, kill, save. The soul of Libram spoke from within me.
I must stay with Magusar.
It was now I who wished this, not just Libram. The line between myself and Libram had been fully blurred. I will fight for an eternity, until my frame shatters. I know not how long it has been. All the fighting has reduced my body to almost nothing. I am the second volume, just like the one I read so long ago. I lost my human form, so that I may share this tale. But even so, I have great hope, knowing that the future can be changed. My story will one day join the past, and someone may look back upon it. And it is to that reader that I leave one last message. It is only events of the past that can be recorded in a book.
There are no pages reserved for the future.
And therein lies its potential. The potential of the unknown is limitless.
No matter how desperate your predicament may be, there is always hope. You must only have the strength to make the right sacrifices. Want and sacrifice.
If you wish it, you can change the world.
If this sense of hope lives on, then my life will have had meaning. So, take these words with you,
and remember me by them.
What is written on the pages of the future depends upon you, the reader of this tale. And as you live on in the distant future, consider what Libram once told me.
This is where your story begins.
So for doing the save ending versus the sacrifice, we get the Sanguine Angel shot. So this is a slightly different variation of the other one. We do get the whole, tease into the Grimm story and everything like that. But now I want to take you through what happens if you fight Magusar before the final chapter of the original game. There's so much information your character does not have at this point in the story that it plays out quite differently, but it is very interesting to see what happens if your character decides to break out on their own before knowing the truth, before knowing most of what's going on, and goes to fight Magusar. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This one was one that I did earlier, right before I went into the final chapter, and I recorded it just for this video, so please enjoy. Oh, and final note, because this is like the one technical ending where you don't choose save or sacrifice, I chose to dress as our girl Semilia.
Planning on standing up to Magusar? You've learned to cast spells by reliving the journal. But the world inside the journal is another story, so to speak. The sorcerers in the journal are from the past. Your body, your things, they are not the same. Without strength, you may find that you cannot even escape from this cell. I ask one last time, are you sure? Never before has a prisoner of Magusar chosen this path. You are the first to attempt an escape by choice. Isn't that odd? Long have I awaited one such as you. I had already made up my mind to give everything to a proper vessel. All the memories, all the experiences of the journal are now a part of you. Now you can use your powers just as you did inside the story. Go on. Go on. Take it. Now, your story begins.
Is it you? But how? No. Impossible. My friend is...
very quick. If you're curious, if you die, which is probably what's going to happen if you do this too early, this is what happens. You get a scene of you dying. You don't lose anything for trying, which is nice. And you get a message saying, the death did not feel real. Perhaps even this is a memory, which means... And you just go back to the book. No meaningful dialogue here because our character doesn't know the actual truth behind the story. They don't know the significance.
And I chose freedom. I heard a voice from within. It was Libram. He spoke to me.
Well done. Now I can finally rest. This is the last time I will speak. Don't question yourself. You must live your own life. Your decision has created a future. No more reading about the past. When your life becomes a part of the past, someone may look back at it. So, be careful. Don't let your life be jotted down in a strange book like myself. It was good to know you. So long.
With those last words, his voice faded. Libram's tale had finally reached an end. I had seen him through to the end and would share the tale for posterity. As tales should be, remembered. My story will one day join the past, and someone may look back upon it. And it is to that reader that I leave one last message. It is only events of the past that can be recorded in a book. There are no pages reserved for the future. What is written on the pages of the future depends upon you, the reader of this tale. And as you live on, in the distant future, consider what Libram once told me. This is where your story begins.
It's like a good 80s horror movie. It's just like, da-da! Haha, you did not defeat him, and for all your efforts you get a stupid offering. It's kind of funny how lackluster the offering is, but you know what? Whatever. At least it's something unique, right? And then you just go back to the game as if nothing happened. So it's kind of a weird ending, but it's one that not many people are going to see. Now, because this was the first time that I actually defeated Magusar, I got all the unlock items here instead of when I did the sacrifice ending at the actual end of the story. So here you'll see I got a few sigils, which was nice. So I think this just had to do with stuff. I got the Grand Magus hand. I got the Dragon Slayer, which will make us fight dragons easier. Age of Mage Dragon and stuff like that. Here's what the 3 decorative arms look like. This is the arm of the Grand Magus. Obviously that is Magusar's hand, with the eyeballs all over it. Very Bloodborne-ish, if you ask me. And you have the arm of the Elder Mage, which is what we saw teased at the end there. Again, these are more just for visual treats. When you beat bosses, you can sort of enjoy and see these. And finally, the other one which I was using in my video, which is the arm of the Mage Dragon. This is a cool arm. It looks very gothic-y, Skeletor. So that is the end of the ending for the original base Soul Sacrifice content, and now we are going into Delta, and it's going to be a wild ride. I hope you guys look forward to the second part of this walkthrough series, and until next time, happy hunting.